You are not wrong. Pedro Pascal is being pushed everywhere. Everywhere in your life, this man is existing, and not in a positive way. And it's getting kind of disgusting because they're utilizing other famous actors to try to make this Pascal guy into something that he clearly isn't. He's clearly not masculine, and he's clearly not a star in Hollywood. And yet, that's the narrative, and we should talk about that. Here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder, I am after that 40K goal just in the next week or two. If you guys can help me get there, that'd be spectacular. And I'm also after 50K, hopefully by the end of summer at this point. I'm really trying to set some top end goals for myself, and I can get there with your help. So please double check you're still subscribed to the channel. You will be informed, you'll be entertained, and it's almost on a daily basis. And check out the new channel, Campione Reacts, which is something extra special. Now let's get to the first story in this two-parter that I think you're going to be interested in. Robert Downey Jr. claims Pedro Pascal being a star reaffirms my faith in our industry as public Pedro PR push continues. And you know what? Marvin's not wrong. This is a lot of garbage flowing out of all of these entities trying to make this man something in Hollywood. And it's really strange considering his heritage and his history and the fact that essentially they're promoting a communist, a socialist, and a person who has no comprehension of what reality is. This is a man that in a different world would be running for mayor in New York City. And that's saying something these days after the results of the recent primary election. From the story, Pedro Pascal is now officially the face Marvel Studios is betting on. Yes, to the tune of several $1 billion at this point. And Disney's PR machine, led by Robert Downey Jr., is pulling out all the stops to make sure audiences fall in line. In a new Vanity Fair cover story, which is absolutely ridiculous visually, I'm sure you'll agree, the Fantastic Four and Avengers Doomsday actor was showered with praise by Robert Downey Jr., who stars opposite of Pascal as Dr. Doom in Marvel's next phase-defining film. And I will tell you, there is no hype for Marvel anymore, and there's no excitement for the Fantastic Four and or Doomsday at this point. This is the largest flop Disney will ever produce. That's largely what most people in my sphere are saying, and it's my sentiments exactly. This is not something that will win Marvel fans back because you are creating a persona out of probably the least masculine man in Marvel, and that's saying something. Downey, long considered the heart of Marvel's cinematic universe, has increasingly become a kind of emergency spokesperson for the studio's more controversial projects, which actually includes the spectacular failure and the massive negative reviews that we're seeing for that silly show they took off the shelf after 2 years, Ironheart. And that's right. Ironheart sat on the shelf for 2 years. They were terrified that it would reach 3 years, and even if it had, it still wouldn't have damaged the company as much as releasing it. This was a tax opportunity, Disney, and you didn't take it. But hey, you're going forward with a doomsday disaster that I don't think you're quite prepared for. Downey's quoted as saying, Pascal's slow trajectory to becoming a household name who is on a wildly hot streak kind of affirms my faith in our industry. That is a terrifyingly disappointing statement from somebody who I used to have respect for. Notice I used the past tense there? Yeah. But it's far, far worse because the industry is trying to push forward this effeminate pretender as some kind of masculine icon, somebody to idolize, because a Hollywood director claims that Pedro Pascal is what we want in masculinity. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. How did we get here? This is an editorial by our friend Marvin Montanaro over on That Park Place, a site you should check out immediately because there's lots of great stories there every single day, and an entire team that is dedicated to bring it to you. But when you look at this, the filmmaker Spike Jonze, not somebody I think highly of, some people do, declared that Pedro Pascal is what we want in masculinity. Okay, well, just go out to the street late at night on Hollywood Boulevard and grab any one of the gentlemen that are walking down the streets there. because that's about what you can expect from a Pedro Pascal. That statement isn't just a compliment from a director to an actor, it's a declaration of Hollywood's new agenda, the weakening of men. And, well, I'm sure everybody saw that coming. The traditional male archetypes that once defined the big screen, like John Wayne, Chuck Norris, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, yeah, and even Wesley Snipes, let's not forget him, have been traded in for thigh-high boots, designer crop tops, and tear-streaked monologues about personal trauma. It's the march of the weakness, and it's the only way that you can get socialism or communism, or the combination of both, into a society. Weak men. Jones's praise comes at a time when Pascal's image has become inseparable from his fashion statements, and also the disinterest the audience is showing him in him already, in a situation where he's never actually opened a film, and he's about to drop one in the toilet in just a few weeks. Whether it's Saint Laurent thigh-high boots on the red carpet, a lipstick red Valentino suit at the Met Gala, or a pantsless Prada spread in Vanity Fair, the message is clear. Masculinity isn't about strength in Hollywood. It's about style. Well, except that style is incredibly feminized in a way that is, well, turning off almost every red-blooded American. It's about presentation over protection and flamboyance over fortitude. And again, lovely adjectives there, Marvin. Kudos. This isn't a natural evolution. It's a deliberate, manufactured shift designed to rewire cultural expectations. And Pedro Pascal is the delivery system, and he and it are being rejected. Hollywood, this is your last chance and last warning to turn the corner. And why do I say that way right now? Because it's going to be worthless in 2 years when you're on the cusp of not just bankruptcy, but complete oblivion as an industry. And I'd be okay with that. Currency of fragility. What a brilliant subheadline. Pascal is not portrayed as a strong man. He's sold as a fragile one. Yes, a weakling, a wimp, a effeminate, narcissistic cretin that has all the spine of an octopus. The media swoons over how he cries easily and laughs loudly, and how his insides are on his outsides. Well, I'm sure they have been from time to time. This is now considered aspirational. His masculinity is not something you can rely on, but something you're meant to comfort. Yeah. And that's been the excuse for his odd behavior over the last several years. But I'm going to tell you this much. This guy is just not there completely. And we've seen an awful lot of that in Hollywood. Oscar Isaac found a way to take time out of his busy day to give us this lovely image of him and Pedro sharing a snuggling moment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not masculinity. And of course, if you're working for Disney in any capacity, you have to have the right think. That's right. Political alignment is required, of course, and Pascal's rise isn't just about fashion or feelings. It's about the message discipline that he displays every single day. He proudly posts about Gaza. He wears activist slogans. He associates half the country with evil regimes of the past, while Gina Carano, his, at the time, Mandalorian co-star, got fired for far less. In fact, she merely reposted something that was a reminder not to divide us further. But this guy is all about the divide. He called J.K. Rowling, an abuse survivor, a heinous loser for standing up for women's spaces. That wasn't a lapse in judgment. It was a flex on his part. A declaration that he's on the right side of Hollywood's culture war, and, as the socialists always say, the right side of history. Poverty, starvation, and death. Not something I would want to align myself with there, Pedro. And because of that, the rules don't apply to him. He can mock, insult, and condescend, and it's spun as charming well, at least by the mean girls out there who make up Hollywood and a lot of the politically unhinged out there in the world. The same behavior that would destroy a traditional actor's career, again, Gina Carano, is praised when it comes wrapped in the right politics. And really, I don't have to go any farther than that. Pedro Pascal may be a bit of a charlatan on top of being an adult pretender, but he's also just a bad person, and it shows. He didn't take a proper stand when Gina Carano was being shown the door, and he didn't really seem to care. After his family was chased out of Chile back in the day, they wound up in the loving arms of Denmark, to my recollection, and eventually made their way here to the States. And in a lot of ways, he is the personification of privilege that he tries to denounce publicly. But honestly, all of this just drives me to more questions. If this man can't open films, why is he being so relied upon to lead an entire phase in Marvel? And why is Marvel so bent on trying to destroy society in the United States and pretty much all Western culture? Has Disney actually learned any lessons from the disasters of all their previous films in this calendar year? Of course not. The only success that they have was erased with all the red ink that came before. Lilo and Stitch can't possibly make up for the hundreds of millions of dollars lost on Captain American, or I should say Captain Anti-America, Brave New World, and of course Thunderdolts, which died, well, very, very quickly, and it was supposed to be a return to form. At the same time, it didn't have much return at the box office. The Fantastic Four will prove to be no different and cause even more divide and dollars left on the table. Leading into Doomsday, there's nothing to look forward to and everything to worry about, at least if you're a Disney executive. But hey, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Is Disney really in a position to just squander money left and right as their theme park industry starts to head downward? As their theme park efforts start to slide downhill because of the folks down the street in Florida? Can they afford to let valuable IPs continually be destroyed, as they've got very little to rest on going forward? And finally, is the sliver of the audience, the modern audience, worth all this loss of money? Pretty soon, investors, including the institutions, are going to have to ask that question, and I don't think they're going to like the answer. But hey, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below, and tell me what you think. Is Pedro Pascal the peak of masculinity, or is he in the land of femininity? And is this the future for male actors in the future if they want to get jobs? And if so, how long till Hollywood is completely gone? As always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya! But not at anything Pedro Pascal does.